Welcome back.
Thank you.
So, things have been a little heated lately in this country. I don't know about elsewhere. Following the events around the political atmosphere in Uganda, am I the only person who has been left wondering whether Ugandans actually know the law of the land? Because there have been lots of riots surrounding the Bobi Wine arrests and everything, and people who have been arrested wrongfully or rightfully, I don't know. But am I the only one who has been left wondering what the law provides for? Like, should I be arrested walking out of here because I've been talking not so nice things about the government? Where can I access legal assistance or services? But also, how do I interact with, say, like officers who are charged with protecting the law? So I'll give you an example. I learned like a year or so ago that the practice of plucking off plates from cars when they find that you're defaulting on something on the road is actually illegal in Uganda, except that police officers still do it today. And even Ugandans who know that this shouldn't happen, you know, they'll either take.
Actually, no.
So that's the thing. But also the sense that gives me is also that lots of police officers, people who are actually charged with protecting the law and keeping law and order, actually don't know the law.
True. And
is that possible?
And true, I think so. I really think that the guys who are supposed to be like the face of the law do not know. Either they do not know or they are pretending not to know. This one time I don't want to mention names, but I am at, let's say I am at a place, at someone's home. So these plainclothes men come to that person's home. And they're like, okay, we want to enter, we think there's some stuff here that belongs to someone else and things like that. So okay, me being trying to be sharp, I'm like, show me your IDs. No IDs. So I'm like, I'm not allowing you guys to enter until you show me your IDs. Do you have a warrant? And you know, we learn these things from movies,
TV.
So it's like, do you have a court order? Do you have...
You want them to show you their badge.
Yeah, they're like, what do you have? And so these guys, they start insisting, they start abusing me, but I'm like, okay, since now we have begun, I'm not going to allow you to enter. So they have to call so many people. Eventually I started saying that, hey man, there might be some, so I let the guys in. But later on, I start to ask, like, I call up a friend and ask them, should I have allowed them in? And they're like, no, if there's no court order for them to, they're not allowed to invade your privacy and things like that. But later on, it so happened that someone had been sold things that were stolen. And the things were recovered. Now, what was very interesting is that we have had these situations where you're robbed, like someone's about to submit their PhD thesis, laptop is taken. They didn't back up their info, for whatever reason. and someone tries to track it down, fails. This situation, the police was excellent. They tracked down these stolen goods from about 3 people. So I'm like, who is this guy?
For a good amount of money.
Who gets that, who gets their things like this in Uganda? Because they're saying to think that these are the same policemen. On one hand, I have a situation where they're failing to find all these guys who have been killed. They're failing to find. But then, man, to find these goods, they found them and tracked them right down to this person's place. They moved through like 3 hands. So the question is, does the police serve a certain group of people? And does the law serve them? And then some of us, we are just there and left to God and me.
Beth is a law goddess. So if you can tell us, like, what happens? Should we tell the police officers when they arrest us, like, you know, like, read them our rights?
I worry about looking at especially the political situation in Uganda today. I worry that a lot of Ugandans do not know what their rights are. But even those that know their rights, they have not been able to enjoy them because in light of everything that's happening, when there are bullets flying, I do not think I'm going to get my constitution and start reading it out for this guy. You saw what happened to the journalist during the Bobi Wine saga. So in light of everything that has been happening in Uganda, I worry that we do not know what the law says. And even for some of us who know, you cannot really exercise this right because there's a force that is stopping that from happening. But my biggest worry is mostly that we do not know. Like Nvannungi was saying earlier, that I see it a lot happening on the street, that a person is maybe driving at the wrong side of the road and then they are stopped and their original permit is taken by the police, you see, or their plate number is pulled off and then they just drive off and leave it with the police. And that is illegal. But because we have normalized this kind of thing, it continues to happen.
It's like we're creating our own jungle law of sorts.
It becomes very hard. And also in line with everything that's been happening, freedom of assembly and movement of Ugandans and association. We had in 2017 a lot of civil society getting a lot of problems with the government, and when the accounts were being freezed and were saying they were participating in political, you know, what they are not supposed to because it's civil society. It becomes very hard. I know maybe Yvonne, I don't know if you participated in
a gathering or sorts. I remember mid this year, we had the women's march. You guys, I wanted to come. I really wanted to come. But I said, you guys, what if we're there and then they start tear gas? Will I run?
Will you die?
No, but will I run? And no, true. Will I die? That is, as in that's something to think about. Like, and what am I willing to sacrifice for? But then my thought was like, what if they start firing tear gas? What if someone has a stray bullet? And I really respect those guys who have guns because I don't know their mental state. So I do not want to be around them. And I really wanted to come, but I was like, you know what? Let the others who are brave enough go. I am not that brave. And that was unfortunate. But I see very many people like me who are quite timid, and they're like, you know what? Let us move away from the lines. Let's not extend near. Like, let's not even. And yet, we have things that are bothering us. We have things that are going wrong, and we are, too scared to come out, too scared to speak up, too scared to. So the law is far off, and I am just here
to say what happens if somebody is taken in, you know, by the police for whatever reason. What does the law provide for Muntua Wansi, all the way up to whoever can pay? Specifically, like, I just want to know, how should somebody behave? Should they get arrested or
pluck off their plates, take their original permit,
be confronted by police?
First, in line with arrests, we need to understand that every civilian has a right to arrest a person that has committed a crime or is suspected to have committed a crime. So if I have reasonable ground to think that Yvonne has just stolen a speaker from this place, as a civilian Ugandan, the law allows for me to arrest Yvonne.
With
and we need not to understand what an arrest is. That's just an arrest means just generally to apprehend you and be sure that you do not leave. I, however, do not have a right to detain you. So after I arrest Yvonne, who I reasonably believe has just stolen a phone or a speaker from someone, I'm supposed to hand them over to the police, which has now the right to do the following. Everything else that needs for Yvonne to understand whether indeed Yvonne took whatever I claim she stole. So, and that is one thing that many of us Ugandans do not know. But also, the fact that the police and also a civilian can arrest you if they reasonably believe that you're about to commit an offense or that you have committed an offense. It also leaves a lot of room for especially our police to arrest people just to stop them from doing certain things they want to do. Looking at the situation of everything that's been happening in Uganda today, you remember a picture of a journalist that was beaten up during the riots on the OTT and then the Bobby Wine saga and everything. And later a statement, like I mentioned earlier, was issued saying that they thought it was a petty thief. But is that even how a petty thief is supposed to be treated? No. Even if you are a petty thief. Now that's the worst part about the law. Understanding that even if I'm a criminal, I still have rights. I have a right to be informed of what wrong I have done, which a lot of Ugandans do not get from this police. you're not supposed to beat me unless I'm using force to try to escape from this arrest. But you have seen how Ugandans are treated. I'll make reference to the recent, I think it was last month or so, a non-Ugandan was being arrested after... and you could think the man was being walked down the aisle,
and
placed him at the front of the police vehicle, drove them to... The one who was abused was behind.
And the second time.
And this is not the first time it's happened.
It's not.
So the police has no right to be beating up a person while arresting them unless they're resisting arrest. And even when they're resisting arrest, they're supposed to use reasonable force. You saw the kind of chibokos they were giving Ugandans that they were arresting during their riots.
But that, I'd like to ask you, what do you mean by reasonable? Because
and that's where the
you're leaving a lot of
doubts.
I feel like you've given the law gives a lot of power to the policeman, because you're saying that so long as they have reasonable they have reason to think that you are about to commit an offense. Or they have reason to believe that you have committed an offense. Does that mean evidence? Because that means they can just pick us up right now. And
so
they just that you look suspicious.
You are plotting.
You're
the way.
Now that's exactly what a lot of Ugandans find very ambiguous. I'm a lawyer too, but I find that it's really ambiguous. That they leave it to reasonable belief that I have committed an offense. That's why I believe the vagrancy laws, that is idle and disorderly and being rogue and vagabond, are some of the things that we need to professionally start thinking about doing away with. And the fact that most of these laws actually affect omuntu wansi, usually a low-earning Ugandan living in a certain space. If they find you in a certain space, not dressed, for example, in a certain manner. I sometime in 2015 had to deal with a client who was got walking around Sheraton, and they did not look like they could afford the service of the premises around there. So that was reasonable belief to think this person was a thief. And they actually arrested him overnight. But then also, do Ugandans know? We know at every police station in Uganda there is a notice that bond is free. Is that what actually happens in this sense?
Also, what does that mean? Like, what's police bond?
What's police bond? Yes. It's temporary release. For example, if I'm arrested for an offense, my statement is written down. Those are pre-trial processes. That's what they call them. My statement should be recorded. And police should show initiative to look into the investigations of the matter that I'm being accused of having committed the offense. Now, if it is not a capital offense, I have a right to bond. But police might actually refuse to give you bond if they reasonably believe, for example, Yvonne is a non-Ugandan who may disappear, and it may be very hard for you to report and come back and have this case proceed. But you see, all these processes at the end of the day need for someone to be helping you follow up. Because it's very traumatizing to be at the police station alone, because there are several people having different offenses. The police station is a generally busy place. Now what happens to what Joan usually calls Omuntu Wansi, who, for example, I'm going to campus, I'm a student, there's a riot, and I'm arrested. No one knows.
Street who they keep
usually KCC arrests those women. Of course, you have a right to a phone call to your next of kin. Does that happen in essence? I've dealt with clients so many times where the police will tell the client, I do not have airtime, or bring 1,000 shillings, but then you do not even have 1,000 shillings at that moment, because when you're being bundled up, your wallet is gone or your money is all gone. So what happens to omuntu wansi, like we like to call it, after, if you do not get bond and then you're presented in court
and you don't have anybody pulling any strings,
you have a right. There's going to be a lawyer helping you in court who is taking you through the process. We very well know, because of backlog, state attorneys are busy. Sometimes they get to see your case, look at your file that morning. Who is taking you through? Who is preparing you? But also, all these processes need money.
I want to understand all these fancy law terms.
How does someone get legal aid? Is pro bono your right? Are you supposed to have a right to a lawyer each time? Because I remember there's a time my client was telling me there's a guy I found in court, I'd never seen him. He was saying he's my lawyer. But what happens mostly, I want us to delve into what happens to omuntu wansi. How do they get legal aid? Is it a right for every Ugandan? Do we actually know where to go to get this aid? So I think Mercy, got you cut, then you put the kalambwe, Then Mercy will come.
Yes, sponsored by the judge.
We are here at Olive's Restaurant and Bar in Naguru, opposite the surgery, which is our new home. Come through, visit this beautiful place for great pizza and really nice whiskey.
So we were talking the fancy legal terms, pro bono, are we entitled to those kinds of services? And so you, our land friend, Mercy, should be able to just tell us. So I'm arrested, I'm discontent with how I'm being treated at police, obviously. How do I go from there if I don't have anyone out here pulling strings to get me out or calling important people? What do I do then?
Yeah, first of all, when you get arrested, it starts from that point. Most times, you may not foresee being arrested. It depends on the circumstances. Sometimes you're just caught up in chaos. Sometimes it can be targeted, or sometimes you actually, commit a crime. It could be a simple offense on the road or in a bar, anything. So when that happens and you find yourself in a situation of arrest, it's always first to know what are those things that I should and I should not do when I get arrested. One of it is to, first of all, not resist the arrest. I know it's very traumatic. You want to argue with the police and all of this, but looking at our situation in Uganda and who our police are, you should pretty much be very cautious about how you act, even if you're traumatized. Don't try to out-argue them. Don't even try to flex with them. Don't try to resist the arrest. Let them take you. And when they start to search you, do not look at places that you don't want searched. Because somebody, as a woman, when somebody comes to arrest me, I may want to protect certain parts, maybe where I've hidden my phone or anything that could help me out of this trouble. So I'll end up, trying to do that, and you give them a clue. I know, for example, recently in a case where a woman was arrested, she had her phone in her bra the whole time. And that is what helped us to track where she was. Because, sometimes when, for example, it's a political chaos or you're caught up in this mess in town, they'll just collect you. They won't really necessarily search you and whatever. So during that time, she was able to make some phone calls, send texts, I've been arrested in this place. I don't know where we're going and stuff like that. So that already is a protection measure. But if she tried to do something, they could have taken out the phone. And then once you get there, either way, if you've been unable to make contact or your phone was the first thing that got lost, demand to communicate. And police may not give you the avenue to communicate, but when you're in a police setting, there are people who come to see other people. You could see somebody across the counter or who has come to visit another person. Find a way to send out a communication. And then for the people who are outside of that, maybe your family or you don't even have a family or people that you can call, I think one of the things that we've missed is people knowing about where they can get legal help. First of all, working in a field where we offer free legal services, I've got to learn that there's so many organizations that give free legal services. And I've been involved in a lot of the cases that have got young people caught up in the mess, especially the political cases, election-related violence, university strikes, the ones that usually come to our attention. And I can tell you that the people who get arrested do not actually know the people who come to get them out. But that's the whole point. You don't have to have a lawyer, your personal lawyer, for you to get legal services. Because once we know that, for example, there was an arrest in Makerere, and I want people who are watching us to understand that there are always people who are keeping track of, there are young people who got arrested in Kamocha. Can we go and establish who these people are, and can we try to get legal help for them? So there are always people who are thinking, by the way. And the umbrella organization that has all these entities is called Legal Aid Service Providers Network, LASPNet. They have an office near Chikoni.
Chikoni.
Yes. So they have all of the legal aid service providers networks, both within Kampala and outside, even up country, because there are different organizations that pay sort of like a membership to be part of LASPNet. So they're like a coordinating center. So when something happens, for example, in Lira, they know the organization that gives legal aid in Lira. Because there are very few organizations that have been licensed to give free legal services. Of course, organizations like FIDA do, their services are for free. So even if it's a political matter, whatever the situation is, you can be able to reach out, even if you're a man, because then FIDA being part of LastNet or working with other networks, human rights networks, will be able to link you to other organizations. So there are very small entities that communicate about things that are happening. For example, when the election violence in Arua happened, and immediately the people were transported to Gulu, we had to find out where they are, what is their situation, and then immediately deployed lawyers who are within Gulu. Even the ones who may not work at FIDA, but even they work at law firms, but they're women. Or there are those that were male but give pro bono services. So we immediately had to map out, go to police, check, get their names, get their details, what do they need, what. So all the other needs, medical, psychosocial, now came as a result of that. Because as a lawyer, it's very unlikely that they will deny you access to the client. Even if they do, you can sound an alarm, and then, you know, our coordinating bodies can, you know, sound off at the prisons to say that you're not giving us access to our client, you need to give us an access. So that's why even for, I'll just use Bobi Wine's example, for example, they refused to give him access to his lawyers at first, but immediately when that was sounded off, because we have laws in this country that permit that, the state had no choice but to allow his lawyers to access him, even when they couldn't allow his family. So having a lawyer is very important. Even if you don't have any contact of one, at least know that there are entities that work to do this. And you may not know the lawyer. I may show up and say, oh, hey, you know, I've come, I'm going to be your lawyer, I'm a BCD. So always establish, where are you coming from? Which organization do you work for?
So that means the next time, even when we have our small cases that won't make the news, we'll just be running to Chikoni to look for this network.
Just ask for LastNet or the ones that you know, FIDA. Uganda Law Society also does have an arm that gives legal aid. And then there's also these baskets of human rights defenders, people who just work to defend human rights. But most importantly, also, you take advantage of online platforms where people are always offering free legal education to learn, what do I do when I'm arrested? Who can I call? Ask those questions, because most organizations are now online. Most organizations may be engaging in talk shows near you or on a radio station. Those are the questions people should be asking, so that this information is public.
The legal aid conversation or legal services conversation is long, but she touched on something about, you know, when you were explaining what the police officers who were in plain clothes and for me, I'm still wondering. I mean, if we tell people to learn what the law provides for them and all of that, does the police know the law? Do these police officers know the law?
Unfortunately, most of them do
because
not.
Thanks, because like the situation of plucking off the plates, because I don't think any SEN officer wants to also implicate themselves in it. So plucking off the number plates, taking original permits, entering and searching me without a court order, without
so many bits with impunity. I mean,
and sometimes it may even be a man searching a woman, which is not supposed to be.
A man searching a man are not supposed to search women.
No.
Wow.
Okay. Even actually, you're supposed to be arrested by a female police officer if you're a woman.
Really?
Yeah. Even in situations of riot, it's supposed to be women arresting women and men will arrest men. Yeah.
Okay. So, are we going to also have legal education for our officers?
We need to. I know that the people who are attempting to do that, but the numbers are overwhelming. And one of the huge issues, and something that we should all get involved in, is to ensure that the state passes the legal aid policy. You know, right now, because we don't have a policy, the few people giving these services depend on donors. Because getting a lawyer is expensive. So most donors support the institutions by you say paying salary for the lawyers instead of going to a law firm and charging people. Somebody's paying my salary, so I cannot charge you for my services. But in different countries, it's actually the state that gives these services, meaning that any person within Uganda should ordinarily be able to afford a lawyer. But that's not the case. So currently, actually, as we speak, there's a process in Parliament to accelerate the passing of the legal aid policy, because we who give these services are overwhelmed. The political situation does not help us, because it's even leading to more mayhem. And
how does
more
the layperson help? Because you said we should advocate for this policy
hold
to
your
pass
members
on.
accountable. Any forum where your members of parliament, speak about it. In any forum, speak about it in the market, speak about it anywhere.
Even though that has proved to be
people,
quite useless.
I know, but
let's not give up.
I know we won't.
But it's true. Police, most of them unfortunately don't know the law, so they're pretty much accustomed to practice. So there are certain practices that they think are right, which
but can't you land people then advocate or seek that as part of whatever training police officers receive, like the constitution and all of that is something that they have to go over?
Yeah, definitely. Of course they take them through, I must say, but maybe it's not as intensive as it would think. But also, again, in terms of their own
what law are they upholding if they don't know?
Yeah. So sometimes because these are not trained lawyers or anything, so they apply the law as and when they deem it fit in the circumstances. Or sometimes they're boxed in this political box where you should do what you're supposed to do. I'm broke and I just need money from her. So it's a lady driving. Oh, well, let me find something wrong with her, because ladies will easily, give me the money. So, it's Friday, people are probably drinking. Let's take advantage and position ourselves on the streets. So it's really an issue of practice. We need to hold our police accountable. As people, I like how people these days take pictures of police or number plates when somebody does something.
We're going to start publishing videos of them.
Very, very good. I saw a few videos of bribery, and now you find that traffic police sometimes get very scared of even receiving a bribe.
They become very
because they think you're setting them up. Yes. So we need to do more of that.
What would you advise us as general public who have, yes, there's a constitution, there are several acts available online.
How do we acquaint ourselves with the law?
Would it help if we read through them, such that we know at least where to start from?
Can you put them in tweets?
Yes, I think you've given me fantastic ideas. Because what you've said is in itself a recommendation. We need to simplify our laws and pull out just those elements that an ordinary person would interface with. So, for example, what do you do when you're arrested? What does the law say when you get arrested? Who can you contact when you get arrested?
And make sure that the police knows that we're getting this education.
Yes, and then we need to translate.
Then they will need to educate
themselves for people to understand as
true.
well. Because sometimes the people who interface with these things do not have access to social media, perhaps, and even if they did, they wouldn't. Maybe they don't read English. So we need to try as much as possible to invest, and both the state and non-state agencies should invest in legal education. I think it's very powerful. It will empower people to know their rights and to challenge issues that they see as violations. They will know their responsibility, they will know their rights, and that way will minimize some of these very obvious spaces where people take advantage of us just because they know that you do not know.